Go Broncos and Giants, week 2, the NFL on CBS. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson. It's been the talk all week, and here we are for the third time, the Manning Bowl.
Yeah, a lot of talk about them, rightly so. When you look at both offenses, they're loaded with skilled players. My question is, what defensive player on either side can make a play that maybe gives their team a chance to win?
We'll be seeing Peyton Manning and the Broncos with the football first. This game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Olivia and Archie. Ready to watch their sons go at it here. Giants won the toss and deferred. So Josh Brown sends it down to Holiday. Mishandles it, scoops it up at the goal line. And Holiday so dangerous. With a flag out, is tripped up at the 22-yard line. Gene Steratore in command of this officiating crew.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team, number 84, penalties half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10 Denver.
So how will Peyton back up that incredible performance? Perhaps the best single game performance of his remarkable career. The 7 touchdown passes. His line with Pro Bowlers on the left side, Clady and Beatles. They're going to begin with Moreno in the backfield, and Welker in his debut as a Bronco last week caught a couple of touchdowns. Giants come out with 5 defensive backs as Peyton goes spread right away and runs it, and Moreno is leveled by Justin Tuck and a loss of 3. That front for the Giants, Pierre-Paul, what will he look like? He had back surgery in June. He did have a sack against Dallas last week. They start out with 2 linebackers as they go nickel against Manning and the Broncos. Mukamura is up after a concussion last week. 2nd and 13, and Tucker holds on to it out to about the 14. And a gain of 10. Peyton gets him set quickly here for a 3rd and 3 call. Manning goes to a second option. It's Moreno, and he's got the first down. No Sean Moreno back in his home state of New Jersey. Picks up 6 yards, and, well, Peyton Manning, who knows if we'll ever see a matchup against his brother again, because they're not scheduled to meet again until 2017. At that time, Peyton would be 41 years old.
Yeah, he wasn't sure they would, but I'll say this. When he's backed up, he went to his pet plays, the one that he has run more than anybody in this league, and it got him out of that hole.
Of course, that's barring a Super Bowl appearance by the Giants and the Broncos. But you were talking to me this week about Peyton coming in the league as an old guy.
Yeah, there's no doubt. When he was in college, he acted like he was in the pros, and when he came to the pros, he turned into a coach.
Here he is on 2nd down to his tight end, Thomas. And he's about 2 yards shy of a first. What a performance by Julius Thomas last week. That's good for 7. He caught a couple of touchdowns.
Well, you know, Jim, he needed more weapons. Peyton Manning, Wes Welker, Demarius Thomas, Eric Decker, and a good offensive line wasn't enough. But now Julius Thomas, here you go. The crowd noise, it is loud here. The Giants have a very good defensive front. But can you make an impact on the game? Because he knows how to get rid of the football so fast with all the plays they have on the offensive side.
And on 3rd and 2. Looking left, going left. He's got Moreno for another conversion. Those 2 hooking up for a couple of first downs off of 3rd down snaps. That's good for 5.
A lot of short passes. There you go. No Sean Moreno out of the backfield. Good pass protection. Not getting the push inside, which the Giants defense can do. They are very big on the defensive line. Now, a lot of short passes. Peyton Manning loves to take shots. Any chance he gets, look for a double move.
He's got the rookie running back. Monte Ball. And that picks up about 2. And Ball, the 2nd-round pick out of Wisconsin. We may see more of him than we did in the opener against Baltimore.
Fits the offense perfectly. Big, strong, smart.
Play action fake to Ball. And Manning goes sideline to Decker. And Decker's already matched his catch total of a week ago with a second reception here on the opening drive.
Well, all those good passes last week, Eric Decker probably felt a little left out. That time the Giants play some man-to-man coverage. Peyton Manning sees it. Good play action fake. Going against Prince Amakamura, wide open.
And again, play action fake into the line. And now the throw to Ball. And he's on to the Giants side of the field at the 42, running behind Wes Welker's block.
Again, so quick. What you do with this hurry-up offense, you try to stop the communication on the defense. It slows the pass rush down, the big guys. Working well so far for the Broncos.
Good pass, looking for Welker. Wes Welker in his debut as a Bronco last week, 9 catches including a pair of touchdowns. Manning has just gone over 60,000 career passing yards on the completion with Monte Ball 2 plays ago. 2nd and 10, and looking for Ball. In fact, they're way down on the field, and he's got Caldwell inside the 10. Andre Caldwell, who also caught a touchdown a week ago, comes into the game and makes a play.
Tight end Julius Thomas goes down the middle. That catches the safety. Nobody touches him, and there's no way you can get over there quick enough. Mundy does not have enough time to help out the corner.
That goes for 36 yards. 1st and goal. As the rookie coughs it up, looking for the end zone.
Was it trouble on the handoff? Oh, he just gets hit, comes out really easy. Runs it, oh, there it is. Nice job. Is that... Couldn't tell who knocked it out.
It was Cullen Jenkins.
Cullen Jenkins, what a job reaching across down inside the 5-yard line. You protect that football, and you should have 2 arms around it. Keep the spirits up. What a drive by the Denver Broncos, but what a break for the Giants.
And the Giants will start out at the 20, and in the backfield, starting is David Wilson, coming off the 2-fumble performance against Dallas.
180!
Eli fakes to Wilson. Goes way down the field to Cruz. And he has it at the 35 and inside the 30. What a catch by Victor Cruz. 51 yards on the Giants' first play.
All the Broncos talked about, don't let them get behind us on the opening play. They catch them by surprise and the perfect coverage. No deep safety. They're looking at the tight end, the play action fake. And Victor Cruz stays with his football all the way. At first, I thought it wasn't far enough across the field. What a catch. Catches the back end of the football.
Boy, did he ever on the backside of the football, beating Chris Harris on the one-on-one coverage.
And the thing I've noticed about Victor Cruz preseason, first game, he is as fast, maybe faster than I've ever seen him.
Here's Wilson holding on to it with 2 hands. And he falls for 5 yards. Eli coming off a 450-yard performance, his 2nd highest total in his 10-year career. Eli's line. Boss is back at center.
Big help.
We asked Tom Coughlin, would Wilson start at running back? He says someone's got to be out there.
I think he was tired of answering that question.
He's got Brandon Jacobs now, just signed this week before the Giant returns. Gets a carry and plows ahead for a first down. So happy to be back in a Giant uniform after a year away with San Francisco that did not work out with injury.
Power running it. How about when you see Brandon Jacobs? We saw him at practice. You walk by him. He's got to be a defensive lineman. And he is going to serve a good role on this football team. That run like we saw there, down on the goal line in short yardage situations, he'll come in handy.
Well, he wasn't sure who was supposed to be in, so Wilson trots to the sideline. Jacobs remains in the lineup. After a first carry of 5 yards.
1
first down. They fake to Jacobs. Now they throw it to him. And he never had a handle. Ian Nacho helped knock that one out. And the Denver defense of Jack Del Rio, second best in the league a year ago, including Derek Wolfe up front. Woodyard, you might remember, got injured last week. But he's back with a heel and ankle injury, having recovered. And Harris so scrappy but beaten for 51 yards on the first play that defense faced. Champ Bailey again is inactive, still out with the foot injury. Tony Carter's come in as an extra back. On 2nd and 10. Wilson's been carrying the football with him all week long to every meeting. Virtually everywhere he turns, he's got a football and he's got it covered up with 2 hands, 2 arms.
Tom Coughlin jumped in and showed us how to do it. I'm going to show you what a running back. Put your fingers over the end, get it to the body, and then wrap your other arm around it when you're in a crowd. And like David Wilson that was that time, it looks pretty uncomfortable to hold the football that way. But Tom Coughlin says if you do it, you won't fumble.
We saw a little look at Wilson also on warm-ups. 3rd down and 9. Eli floats to the right side, to the end zone, and over everybody's head, throwing it away.
Good throwaway that time for Eli Manning. Nobody is open down the field. The Denver Broncos do have a lot of good cover guys. Victor Cruz, there's somebody, nobody to the inside. Look down the other side. Eli Manning escapes the pocket. You're hoping somebody's open. He couldn't find anybody.
Be a 36-yard field goal attempt for Josh Brown, who made his only field goal try last week against Dallas from 20. 11th year in the league through St. Louis, Seattle, and a little bit with Cincinnati last year. Taking over for Lawrence Tynes, and he drills it. So off the ball, fumble. The Giants get the big play right away to Cruz, and they get the field goal by Brown. Here's the fumble, forced by Jenkins. And we've got an update. It's been a wild start to the day already. Let's go back to James Brown across the way.
Houston with a chance to win it in regulation.
Made the first one, they called timeout. Offsides penalty, and then this. It looks no good, JB. It hit the upright, bounced back, 24-24 into overtime, but the Texans are driving.
Back to Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you, JB and Shannon. Houston was down 8 in the late going, got a touchdown and a tying 2-point try, and then had that attempt to win it. And on they go with their divisional foe.
Okay, all the fans, us, we can all sit down and relax just a second here. How was that for a start? I mean, both quarterbacks, of course, they're brothers. We all know that. They came out attacking. Peyton, maybe the person that brought the no-huddle, hurry-up offense, he did it so many years ago. It's taken the league a long time to catch up with him, but he has specialized in it for many, many years, and even the Giants, when they need to, they can hurry up also.
Brendan Holiday last year had 3 preseason return touchdowns, 2 regular season return touchdowns, and 2 postseason return TDs, so no chance to run this one out 9 deep. Well, you talk about Peyton, and you actually said he revolutionized the way the game is played, opening it all up.
I remember when they started that no-huddle offense down in Indianapolis with Tom Moore, and it was working well. And we saw it, and I said to many head coaches, would you do that? And they said, there's no way. No way I would put my coaching career in the hands of the quarterback. Now everybody in the league is trying to put their careers in the hands of their quarterback. When you got a good quarterback, you put all the responsibility on him if he can handle it.
Moreno is the running back on first down. He catches this one. Williams holds him to a gain of 3. Peyton 2-0 in the matchups against Eli in 06 and 2010. Manning Bowl number 3. Well underway now with 2nd and 7. And again, short pass there to Julius Thomas. Peyton, of course, with the Colts, those first two matchups, they both thrown 4 touchdowns in their head-to-head matchups, but Peyton's Colts won both games.
Those numbers now, that's what they do every week. Up to 2 games, but that opening drive was typical Peyton Manning. A lot of pick, but he's always looking for the opportunity or a defense that gets out of position to go deep.
Got a 3rd and 4. Empty backfield. And time to find an open man. There is a flag down as Thomas somersaults past the first down yardage. He's going to go against the Broncos.
Pass interference. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 3rd down.
Terrell Thomas, the giant defensive back who's had major injury issues in his career, is down on the field right now. His game against the Cowboys was his first appearance in a game in over 2 seasons.
Did a good job last week playing the inside receiver. Very tough to guard that guy in the NFL now, number 24.
That's Moreno who hits him.
It's blocked. Never saw the running back coming at him. But the Giants very excited about Thomas, Jim, just the way he played that eliminates. In the NFL, you need 6, 7 defensive backs that can be versatile, of course, play a safety, but you need guys that can play man-to-man coverage. If you play zone against a good offense with skilled guys and a good quarterback, you have no chance, unless your pass rush is just great.
J-Ron Hosley, there he is, 28, comes in for Thomas. As the Broncos set up now for 3rd and 14. They brought Monte Ball back in. Peyton over the ball. Blocker in front, it's Beatles. As Ball looks for the first down yardage. And he's going to have it across the 30. Boy, Zane Beatles positioned out there, the left guard. Help him find 15 out of the play in a first.
Look what they do. Linebacker deep down the middle. Everybody retreating, trying not to give up the play for the first down. Peyton Manning smart, throws it underneath.
On first down, it's Thomas slashing to the 40 and met at the 50 and backed up by Pasinger.
Giants playing very careful, zone, sitting back, hoping their pass rush can get there. Hard to get there because of these types of throws. The wide receiver coming under a receiver inside. The Colts created it with Peyton Manning. Everybody in the league does it. Not as good as this team.
18 to Thomas. Peyton fires it and almost picked off by Jaquan Williams. He had the inside edge.
Williams, very athletic, fast, can run down the field with tight ends, running backs. That time he's all over Julius Thomas.
Andre Caldwell back in after a 36-yard reception on the first drive. 2nd and 10 running. With ball.
Well, you want to run the ball every once in a while, Jim, just to let the receivers and Peyton catch the breath before we throw it again, because it's very evident early here, first to second drive, the Giants don't have the speed on the edge to get to the quarterback, and they're not pushing this big offensive line back either. This is a very good offensive line of Denver's, and they can pass block very well.
Moreno is the 3rd down back. Peyton with 10 completions to 6 different receivers. To Decker. And it's knocked away. Amukamara denies Decker.
Well, you can only take so much. Sooner or later, you got to change up. Perry Field, defensive coordinator, sends him on a blitz. Peyton Manning reads it, goes deep, a little bit underthrown and inside. Amukamara, first-round draft pick from Nebraska, been the best defensive back of the Giants through preseason and the first game.
3rd year out of Nebraska and just growing up big time over the last year.
Got taught really well this offseason by a pretty good defensive back, Sam Madison, who spent the training camp with the Giants and it really changed things around for Pittsburgh.
Cole Quitt. Major hang time. And Randall fair catch at the 15. Punt of 33 yards. And also joining us today after being down there for that Alabama and Texas A&M shootout, Tracy Wolfson on the sidelines. Welcome.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Great to be here. This is the first time that Peyton and Eli have seen each other since July, and the first time they saw each other today was just at midfield for the coin toss. They said they line up across from each other during the anthem. They give a little nod. We saw Archie and Olivia. They try and remain invisible, but he told me this week that it is not easy. He does not enjoy this at all, but he said this is a blessing, and he's going to try and enjoy this one, guys.
Well, it's hard for him to enjoy it, the parents, that is. Much like what we saw at the Super Bowl, Phil, when we had the two brothers on the sidelines, Jim and John Harbaugh. First and 10, and beautiful tackle by Vickerson on David Wilson. We've got an update. James Brown, what's the story?
The name is DeAndre Hopkins.
And it was his show late, JB. Watch this catch. Matt Sharp throws it up. DeAndre Hopkins comes down with it, and it would lead to this. 3 yards. If he gets both feet in, JB, the game's over. Game's over.
Houston got it done in OT over Tennessee. Back to Jim Nance, Phil Simms, and Tracy Wolfson.
Well, that's the first round wide receiver out of Clemson, coming up big for the Texans. And a win, and another nice piece of tackling. This time it's Ian Nacho. Right on Pasco. Holds him to 2 yards. Well, we talked to first Eli and we said, let's go through something away from football. And, who's better at, for example, golf? And he gave Peyton golf, baseball, and darts. But he said it favors my side, basketball, ping pong, billiards, bowling, and running. Peyton didn't totally agree with Eli's take on it, but he did say shuffleboard would be a draw.
Well, he also said, I don't think anybody wants to see the two of us race.
Yeah.
That might be true.
That would be a sight for sore eyes as Eli on 3rd and 10 will come up about 7 yards or 3 yards short. Brandon Myers with the catch.
Well, you can see Denver not being pushed around up front. They're going to play back and dare the Giants to run the football. They haven't done it yet. Number 33, you said his name, Ian Nacho. Aggressive, fast. This Denver defense can run. Not afraid to blitz and take chances when they have to either.
Here comes the 507th punt of Weatherford's career. He's never had one blocked. Although this was not one to be all that proud of. A line drive to Holiday. Well covered by the Giants. And Zach Diassi, the long snapper, makes the first hit on him. Fantasy football fans, still time to get in and play with the best this season. New games available to join today. Sign up now, cbssports.com/football. Of course, Peyton coming off the fantasy dream performance of 7 touchdown passes last week. It had been 44 years since someone had thrown for 7 touchdowns in the league, Joe Cap. And one of those who threw for 7 is here today. Was out there for the coin toss.
Y.A. Tittle.
Y.A. Tittle. First and 10. Broncos run it with Moreno. Jim Nance and Phil Simms welcoming the audience that saw the Texans come from behind and win in overtime over the Tennessee Titans. As the Texans go to 2-0, 2 hard-fought victories for Houston. And it's Decker inside of the 45-yard line. Kamara holds him to a gain of 5. And I talk about records when you're at week 2, like the Giants are at 0-1. This has been a big theme for you this week. Boy, you feel it in that locker room heading into week 2 after an opening loss.
I think there's more pressure on a home team that's 0-1 at the beginning of the season than you feel before a Super Bowl. I said it to Tom Coughlin, he goes, I'll agree with that. So they're on edge, coaches and players for the Giants.
3rd and 4. Quickly now to Decker, and it slips to his hands. He game against Baltimore.
Yeah, that was a tough one. It's a quick play. You're trying to pull it out of the air and take off up the field. All the defenders are looking at you, but Jim, look at the football. It kind of wobbles a little bit. Tough for a receiver to snatch that out of the air. And the Giants were ready for it.
Ruben Randall standing back at the 10. Colquitt. And again, nails this one. And it's going to be fielded at the 4. Randall. 7-yard return after a 53-yard punt. Another beauty by Colquitt. David Bruton on the tackle. Giants off a 36-yard field goal by Brown, leading 3-0. Eli and Coach Coughlin now 10 years together here in New York, and they have accomplished a great deal.
Pretty good pairing. I knew when Tom Coughlin drafted Eli Manning, it's going to give you a really good chance to succeed as a quarterback. He's a quarterback guy, likes to throw the football, stays aggressive with his play calling.
First and 10. Gonna look for Randall. It's over his head. Made a nice move to try to get in the clear. But Eli drafted, of course, back in 04 by San Diego on draft day and then traded immediately. 78-58 record. 8-3, though, more impressively in the postseason. 3 division titles and a couple of Lombardi trophies. And that first year for Eli, boy, was it tough love.
Yeah, those first couple of years, Tom Coughlin, he's not always a pat on the back and say you're trying the best you can. He was tough on Eli Manning.
Second and 10, Jacobs has someone right in his face. It's Robert Ayers. A couple of tackles behind the line by that defensive front. Loss of 3. Hey, how about in Giants history? Coach quarterback combinations, 3rd most wins. Jim Fossil, Kerry Collins. You and Coach Parcells, 68 wins together. And number 1 would be Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning, 78 wins.
I know this right now. Tom Coughlin's got to be concerned not running the football at all, getting beat up front.
.27 seconds to go in the first quarter, and the Giants call timeout before this 3rd and 13 play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Verizon, never be without football with NFL Mobile from Verizon. And by Pizza Hut, make it great.
Giants couldn't get a play in. They weren't set, so they took a timeout.
Yeah, I like the fact that they call a timeout. If they would have taken the penalty, it's 4 yards and probably would give them no chance to pick this up.
Eli. Knocked down incomplete. They're going for Jernigan. And that's Rogers Cromartie who makes a fine play, batting it down.
But how about this 3rd and long? They're staying in man-to-man coverage. They're not playing a zone and playing it safe. And that's an excellent play by Rogers Cromartie. Very talented guy. A wonderful pickup for this Denver defense. Jack Del Rio likes to be aggressive. If you're going to be aggressive, you need 2 really good corners on the outside.
And Weatherford from the end zone. Another low kick to Trendon Holiday. Pauses for a moment, now takes off. And he's swamped at the 40. Excellent starting point, though, for Peyton and the Broncos. With 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. And the Giants on the board with a field goal. For our home of CBS Sports. Here are the 6 different players who have caught a ball in the first quarter for the Broncos.
Throw it to the open guy. A lot of guys getting open, but that just shows you this offense varied. And always be alert that the ball could come your way.
We got Ronnie Hillman in a slot as Peyton has pressure, able to get untangled, and now throws on the run, and it's incomplete. Trying to find Welker. A couple of times it looked like Peyton would be dropped.
Well, the one good thing, or the thing for the Giants, nice coverage down the field. They play man-to-man. They do not give Peyton Manning the easy throw. Jenkins forces him out. And even though Wes Welker redirects what he was doing, the coverage was there.
Here's the running play with Hillman. For about 3, that'll close out the first quarter. 3-0 Giants. We'll return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Last week, the Mannings combined for 11 touchdown passes. None so far today. Peyton with 17 attempts in the first. Broncos with 141 total yards, but no points. 3rd and 7. Peyton fires it over to Welker as his first grab, and he falls at the 20. 17-yard gain to Welker.
Play Wes Welker man on man. It is hard to stay with him. He fakes like he's coming across. He stops and breaks back out. Look at 24. Thomas still looking for Peyton Manning to throw the football over the middle.
Cross Moreno. Walker's in front. Moreno to the 5 and dives. Touchdown. Orlando Franklin was leading the way for Noshawn Moreno's 20-yard touchdown run.
We talked about it last night. If the Giants stay back and they want to play pass, we will try to run the football. Not a lot of success so far. Does Moreno stay in bounds as he gets near it? Looks good, yes, touchdown.
No question about it. For the product from Middletown South High School down in Monmouth County, New Jersey. He finished his high school career as the state's all-time leader with 128 touchdowns at the time. And he's got another one here, this time in a Bronco uniform. Broncos' first rush of the season for more than 10 yards. It goes 20 and a touch. Moreno.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cadillac. And by Call of Duty Ghosts. Available November 5th. Pre-order now.
Well, the Broncos had a short field to begin with. 40-yard drive, only 4 plays. And Noshawn Moreno takes it from 20 yards out. Here's David Wilson, back as a returner, which he excelled at last year as a rookie. We'll sit Michael Cox today, so Wilson gets a chance to contribute in the return game as well. And he tumbles out to the 22, where Paris Lennon has the tackle. Manning against Manning, but Moreno scores the first touchdown. Giants trail early second quarter, 7-3. And first down from the 22. Eli fires. Nix targeted for the first time, and he hauls it in. And a gain of 22.
Akeem Nicks, such a big target, goes down the field, does not get touched, and Eli Manning is waiting for that. That was his first read. And Akeem Nicks, if you do not beat him up at the line of scrimmage, so big and fast, it's going to be tough to cover him down, especially when you're playing a zone like that. That ball got away from Eli Manning just a little bit, but it didn't matter.
And as Jacobs, some were wondering, would he get much action, if any at all? And he's had several carries already. That one picks up only a yard. 1 week from tomorrow, Tony Collette and Dylan McDermott star in the 15-episode thriller Hostages. It premieres Monday, September 23rd, only CBS. And you see total yards, again, 51 for the Giants, picked up on their very first snap, Manning to Cruz.
Having a hard time moving the big defensive lineman out in the run game. So helping out with the big running back. I think that's why Jacobs is in there.
Jacobs 3 carries for 4 yards. And 1 catch as Manning now shuffles right and launches on the sideline. That's Cruz. There's just a chemistry between those two that works out so many times, improvising 15 yards, but will it hold up with the flag?
Eli Manning's been blessed. 2 slot receivers. Steve Smith, Victor Cruz.
Illegal touching. Offense number 80. Went out of bounds, reestablished inbounds. Was first to touch the forward pass. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Well, he
from the
was
previous
out
spot.
of bounds and came back into the field to play. Can't do that.
So he went out of bounds illegally. That's what if he was. I should say if he was pushed out of bounds illegally, he'd come back in and be the first to touch it. Victor Cruz, he just lost sight of his feet, Jim, as he was trying to find Eli Manning and work back to him.
Talk about these receivers Eli's had in his career. Well, he's got a trio last week that did something the Giants have never done in their storied history. 3 receivers over 100 yards last week in the game against Dallas. 2nd and 14. And a short throw to Myers. Yeah, they had 3 go over 100, but Myers actually led them in receptions with 7. He was not one of those who went over 100. It was Cruz, Nix, and Randall, with Cruz scoring 3 times. First time in Giants history.
What a trio. Tom Coughlin is always, he's had an eye for receivers. Of course, Jerry Reese, the general manager, and they've kept good ones around Eli Manning his whole career.
3rd and 6. Near midfield. The ball is dropped by Nix. Would have had the first down at the Denver 40. Eli was walloped just as he released it. He knew it was coming.
It was a blitz that time by the Denver Broncos, and it comes late. Good timing by Wesley Woodyard, but Eli made what a job staying in there, and Nix closes his hands too quick, hurts one of his fingers. Broncos, the only way they can pressure the passer this first game and a half is with blitzes.
Low snap. Rutherford picks it up. Gets some hang time this time, and a fair catch at the 9. 41-yard punt. Here's Nix dropping what would have been a first down. We are back at MetLife Stadium, along with Phil Simms and Tracy Wolfson. Jim Nantz here on the call as the Broncos start this drive at the 10. Peyton already with 18 pass attempts, has not been sacked. Goes back over to Thomas. Demaryius Thomas it is. Does a nice piece of running to pick up about 13, but a flag is out in the area where he caught the ball.
An eligible man downfield offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Any play. First down.
Thomas comes off the field a little shaken up. 10 castaways returned, but the game they're about to play is far different than what they expected. Don't miss their surprise when Survivor premieres Wednesday at 8/7 Central on America's Most Watched Network.
That was a really good starting play. You're backed up. How do you get the football away from the end zone? You know, Peyton Manning, the Denver Broncos offense have so many ways to do it, but the screen game is number 1. How does Orlando Franklin get down the field when that play happens so fast? Tough call.
Andre Caldwell comes in for Demaryius Thomas. Peyton takes a snap at the goal line, gives it to the rookie. And ball. Only about 2 yards. Spencer Pasinger.
Giants do have, and they play this substituted defense, their 2 pass linebackers, Pasinger and Williams, both are fast, and you saw the reaction, how quick it was that time by Pasinger.
Here's Peyton across the middle, and incomplete. Looking for Welker, and Terrell Thomas shaken up earlier, back out there.
Well, Terrell Thomas got fooled one time, but he's doing a good job against Wes Welker. Peyton Manning, the Broncos, they can't believe that they would put number 24 Thomas on Wes Welker in man-to-man situations. I've seen about 4 of them, and Thomas has won 3.
Well, Demaryius Thomas for Denver sits out only 1 play. Back in on 3rd and 13. Peyton finds him, but nothing there as the Giants come right up and make the play. Again, it's Terrell Thomas along with Corey Webster.
Well, this is the way Terrell Thomas played in the opening game, and that's really just this is their version of a draw. Instead of doing it, let's throw it outside. They're trying to pick the outside. You see number 24 Thomas just fly up in there aggressive and make the tackle.
Colquitt will take the snap from Aaron Brewer. Like Weatherford on the other side, he's never had a punt blocked in his career.
Punters are off today.
Picked up off the hop by Randall, who scoots ahead to the 43 of Denver. So a short field this time for Eli. Peyton's touchdown drive came on a short field from the 40. Eli and the Giants will begin at the 43, down 7-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Charles Schwab. And by Samsung Smart TV. TV has never been better.
Been a gorgeous weekend here in the New York area. Aerial coverage provided by MetLife.
We talk so much about the quarterbacks coming to this game, but I got to give a lot of credit to both defenses. They've been put in tough situations. They've come through. Good stand there by the New York Giants. You get an offense like the Broncos and a quarterback like Peyton Manning. You get him backed up, you stop him. That's a big plus, of course.
They start the series with Jacobs at running back. Tries to cut it outside. And the Broncos run right down the line with him, including Derek Wolfe and Nate Irving. Let's go back down to Tracy Wolfson.
Well, guys, an update on Giants wide receiver Hakeem Nicks. We saw him hurt his fingers on that last drive. He went into the locker room. Trainers telling me that it is a dislocated finger, but they expect him to be back, guys.
All that coming on a pass play that would have given the Giants a first down, injured on top of it. But there's Champ Bailey, who's out for a 2nd straight week, injured in the preseason up at Seattle. On 2nd and 12, Nicks is back in. And there's a pass to Myers. Open field, and he loses his footing. Iheanacho may have caught up with him, but Myers had a clear sight of the end zone.
Everybody's up, Jim. Nice little move by Myers that time to fake to the outside. I think he's going to score. And he trips and falls, and Iheanacho makes the tackle. But Trevathan, the linebacker, that's a nice move. You spread the defense out. They all went to bump and run. Easy read for Eli Manning. The middle of the field open for his tight end.
And 27 yards to Myers.
That'll back him off.
First down inside the 20, and Eli with a flag down, has a man in for the touchdown. It's Ruben Randall. The ball is out. Boy, Randall lost the handle. Flag is out. Raheem Moore is in the middle of the mix. First you had the Broncos fumbling going in the first quarter. Now you got Randall. Looked like he was going to score.
A flag in the middle where it is, Jim, you would think it's going to be defensive holding or pass interference against the Broncos.
The ruling on the field was a reception. Fumbled in the end zone, recovered by the defense. However, we have illegal contact. defense, prior to that reception, the penalty is 5 yards to the previous spot, automatic first down.
So all of that doesn't matter with the penalty against the defense.
Little stop and go that time. Ian Nacho, that is the illegal contact. Top of your screen, Ruben Randall, best receiver in preseason.
This would not have been a touchdown. He was stripped at the 1 by Woodyard.
Yes. Boy, and Ruben Randall all off season. Akeem Nicks was not here to practice. Victor Cruz holding out, getting a new contract, so he got a lot of work with Eli Manning. It has paid off all preseason. Really outstanding.
But the penalty gives the Giants a first down at the 13. And there's Cruz at the 5 trying to free himself. And he's decked there by Woodyard. And again, Ian Nacho, who's all over this field.
He was last week too. Boy, that's what you need. You need a safety who can make big stops when somebody's open, like we just saw there with Victor Cruz. But again, the Broncos, nobody gets to the quarterback. They haven't pressured Eli Manning really, except for the one time when they blitz. When you lose Dermerville and of course Von Miller out on a 6-game suspension, it's hard to get to the quarterback without your 2 best pass rushers.
Overall,
2nd and 2 from the 6. Play action, Manning in zone, incomplete. Looking for Cruz and Harris on the coverage.
Well, that was a good redirect, I think, by Eli Manning. Raheem Moore came out of nowhere. They're trying to fake, get you, throw it over the middle. Watch Moore coming. Oh, and he throws it behind him. Chris Harris all over the receiver. That's a good no call.
Giants have not converted on 3rd down so far, 0 for 4.
When I said all over him, I meant in a good way that he was covered.
Terrell Scott wide to the right, empty backfield. Got to get to the 3 for the first. As Eli fires and off the hands of Myers.
Well, 2 things. Bad thing that he dropped it and he wasn't going to score anyway. But they put the 5 wide receivers out there to make it easy for Eli Manning to see where he's going to go with the football. They doubled the 2 inside guys.
Tough series for Myers. He had the 27-yard reception where he lost his footing, might have scored. And then he takes a vicious lick from Ian Nacho and takes another powerful blow there from Harris. So it'll be a 24-yard field goal attempt here by Brown. Weatherford on the hold, and Brown is 2 for 2. Big day for Bill Parcells here, your old coach.
Yep, Hall of Fame gets his ring at halftime. Pretty exciting.
7-6. Denver with under 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Brown with a couple of field goals. It's neat to see Bill Parcells. Like you said, he'll be coming out of here at halftime, his ring ceremony, surrounded by many of his former players. Brown with the boot, trying to prevent Holiday running it back, but he'll take it from 6 deep. And fail to make it to the 20. In fact, before the game today, you were able to partake in a roast. All the old players got together and roasted the old coach. Did you actually feel comfortable saying something a little edgy about the coach?
Oh, very. Felt really good.
Making up for a lot of lost time, huh?
All the players, we got in a huddle and we just said, here's the play. If you say anything nice about coach, we're going to get you. So a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what, I didn't get to stay around, but I'm sure he paid them all back because he's pretty sharp-tongued.
LT is here. I saw Harry Carson as well. Many others. Gifford and Y.A. Tittle. Old Giants as Manning tosses it over to Julius Thomas for a gain of only 3. Parcells, in his career with the Giants, won the 2 Super Bowls and was inducted in Canton there early in August, and you were there.
Yeah, I thought he gave a wonderful football speech at his induction. A lot of fun to listen to it.
2nd and 7, and Demaryius Thomas had his hands on that one, and he knows he should have had it.
He saw the safety that time, Ryan Monday coming over, but it's a perfect throw by Peyton Manning. You think maybe die for it, but that's why he probably missed it. You saw number 21 coming into the screen at the last second. Giants overall playing very conservative on the defensive side.
Peyton started 11 out of 12. He's hit only 4 of his last 10 throws. 3rd and 7. And that's through the hands of Julius Thomas. A quick 3 and out for Denver.
I didn't see anybody get open that time, but good coverage over the middle. Short, Pasinger, he's a good matchup against Thomas. I told you, Pasinger, good speed. Of course, he goes against a lot of good receivers every day in practice.
Back-to-back short series for Denver. And Colquitt will send it down to Ruben Randall. Air catch signal at the 39. 40-yard punt. A lot of emotion in this game. Not a lot of scoring, surprisingly.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Back here at the site of Super Bowl 48, February the 2nd. It'll probably be about 50 degrees colder than it is today. On first down, again, excellent starting point for the Giants as Wilson is able to burst quickly for 6. Take a look at the two quarterbacks, both entering this game off of 400-yard performances. First time in league history that both quarterbacks the previous week had gone over 400.
One reason you see David Wilson in the game, even though he fumbled last week, had a hard time protecting Eli Manning, is speed. He can take a normal play and make it big.
2nd and 4. That's Cruz. Well, he was past the first down, stepped back trying to make a move. I think he still has it. Almost gave it up.
We talked to Victor Cruz yesterday, or on Friday, Jim, and even though he wasn't here the whole offseason, I said to him, boy, honestly, you look faster and more explosive, and we kind of came to the conclusion, at least you and I did, he wasn't here for all the practices, so all he did was train to get ready to be more explosive on the field.
Of course, he had his foot in a boot for a part of the training camp, so to show that kind of speed so early in the season off the injury, pretty impressive. He has the first down at the 50. And now working away from the pressure, down the field, and a flag is thrown against the Denver secondary. Chris Harris made contact with Cruz.
Prior to the pass, holding defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Peyton Manning says about Victor Cruz, you got to be my eyes. You got to make the right decisions. That time he changed the route, and that redirecting, that changing of the route, made it tough for Chris Harris to stay with him.
Big thing here, it was called holding, not pass interference, so they don't get the flag all the way down the field. The football, in fact, just marked off 5 yards closer to the 45. Cruz causing some fits for Chris Harris and the Denver defense from the get-go with a 51-yard reception on the first play for the Giants. This time it's Nix. After being shaken up earlier, dislocating a finger, he's got a first down and a gain of 14. And tomorrow on CBS, the episode everything has been leading up to all summer. How will it end for the people trapped under the dome? The season finale is tomorrow at 10, 9 Central, only CBS.
Last pass, that's what everybody in the NFL now is running. Get in the shotgun, spread the receivers out, fake the zone read. We know Eli's not going to keep it, but it still created a big void for Team Nix.
And they go to Wilson. Net right at the line and then twist away twice. Wilson. Oh, and they got around the collar.
And
Woodyard, no flag, and it's a 2-yard gain when it's all said and done after breaking all those tackles.
I thought maybe he got grabbed by the face mask. Look at Mitch Unrein in the backfield. The missed tackle. Boy, Wilson's fast. And
look at his balance.
my gosh. So low to the ground. Well, that's a legal tackle right there. Good job by Wesley Woodyard. Denver big up front. John Fox try to get him bigger, make it tougher to run on. He did it this offseason.
2nd and 8, and finding a seam. It's Wilson. Boy, is he securing that football today.
Well, he's loosening up a little now, Jim. You know, at first, all he could do was think about was not fumbling it. And now, of course, he's getting comfortable. They're getting him enough carries, and they're getting him in the rhythm of the game. Look at that, 2 hands. Wow. That's what it takes sometimes.
Finally able to run with one hand. He sees contact coming.
I'll tell you, that's hard to do. As I gave that demonstration, I could barely get my stubby arms around that football. So
3rd and 2, they go short yardage with Jacobs. They fake to him. Myers would have been short of the first anyway. Woodyard again makes a play.
He's everywhere.
Giants now 0 for 6 on 3rd down, and we'll see Josh Brown for the 3rd time. He'll try to give the Giants the lead back.
Woodyard, Iheanacho, they're just not full. I talked about it already. That play action misdirection, even if you do get them for a second, you better get rid of it because they have the speed to catch up and get back into play.
41 yards for Josh Brown. Good again. Puts the Giants ahead at 9-7. 2:19 to go in the first half. Picking up the Verizon halftime report, JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest scores and highlights, the recaps coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Dan sporting glasses these days.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, Dan Marino, today.
Happy birthday. If you get a birthday cake, make sure you get a piece quick because you know Boomer, he loves
It'll
birthday cakes.
be gone. We saw Peyton in the early action go over 60,000 yards passing on his career. The 3rd to do so, joining Farmer and Dan Marino. And that will not be returned through the back of the end zone. But here they are through the years. Peyton and Eli, Newman High School down there in New Orleans. Peyton to Tennessee, Eli to Ole Miss. Both selected with the 1st overall pick. Peyton, a Super Bowl MVP, Eli twice. And I know back in New Orleans, by the way, the older brother, their biggest fan, Cooper. He and Ellen and the kids are watching the game back home in New Orleans, and he is their biggest fan and lives the NFL life vicariously. Nice piece of running here by Julius Thomas. He broke away from Terrell Thomas, and Peyton's got something to work with after a gain of 19.
So they talked about it a lot, the Giants defense. Look, they were in the perfect coverage. Come up and make the tackle, miss it, you give all those extra yards up.
Peyton was trying to hurry to the line and get one more play off on the north side of the 2-minute warning, but unable to do it. 9-7 Giants. Can't we just get along? First and 10, 2 minutes to go, first half. Diving for it. That's Welker. Able to pick it right off the top of the surface for 20.
Well, they got 3 receivers together. Wes Welker just flew across the field. I don't know what that coverage was that time by the Giants.
Devarius, his 3rd catch, just short of a first. Give him 9.
Peyton Manning could have hit Wes Welker in stride. He was going to pick up a lot more yards after that catch.
He's got all 3 timeouts in his hip pocket. They've got a first down with that carry. That's Moreno for 3. Joseph not allowing Moreno to get up. Peyton down the field. Julius Thomas, that went for a touchdown, a similar play to that last week. And looked like he got tangled up with Jaquan Williams.
Incidental tripping, that's what it was.
Again, coming up, the Verizon halftime report. You'll find out how some of those early games finished. The Bears winning with seconds to go. The Bills winning with seconds to go. JB will take us through it all with all the crew back in the Verizon halftime report. 2nd and 10 with 1 minute and 2 on the clock. That's Welker unable to hold on. Well, the passes are getting there faster this year. Even Peyton's receivers will give you that feedback.
They say he has a little more pep on the football. I agree with that. It's not the Peyton Manning we saw of old, but that time Terrell Thomas got the jam, got physical at the line of scrimmage, and he's able to stay right with Wes Welker.
2 catches for Welker, 2 drops. It's 3rd and 10. Oh, and the Giants tried to get back, and then Clady moved.
Call this on the Giants.
Neutral zone infraction, defense, number 90, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, who's coming off that back operation in early June, still trying to get low.
He's in the neutral zone. It made Ryan Clady move immediately, so that's a good call.
Makes it 3rd and 5. Total reset by Peyton. Looking left, firing left, and again it's off the hands of Welker.
Great call that time. Perry Fuel, defensive coordinator. It's a blitz, and they're waiting for the quick throw outside. And boy, Peyton Manning takes a big hit that time. But what's the corner coming off? Prince of Makamura. That's why Wes Welker pulled up. That was big trouble if he kept going, but they played the route, the situation, and they were right.
It was Cullen Jenkins in on the quarterback, and now here's Matt Prater to get Denver the lead back from 42 yards, and the kick is good. Our 3rd lead change. 10-9, Denver. Final minute, first half.
Jim, let's look back at that last play. You just got to play the situation sometimes. That's what the Giants do. Wes Welker's going to come out here. Here comes the blitz from this side. This corner is going to look in. They got deep help, and it was the right call. If you got to bet on one route from Wes Welker, it's that quick go up the field, give him a couple moves, and break out. We saw it so much against the Baltimore Ravens in the opening game. We saw it many times, of course, up in New England with Tom Brady.
Again, 11 combined touchdown passes last week. Still looking for number 1 today. Giants have 2 timeouts and 47 seconds.
You never have to ask really the question, will the Giants try to get some points out of this? Tom Coughlin, the head coach, Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, is aggressive in decisions like this as anybody in the game.
One back opportunity for Wilson. Not much of an opportunity.
That might alter the thinking a little bit, that bad return, but Wes Welker, such a big part of their passing game. Terrell Thomas, number 24, all over him. Tight coverage that time in the drops. And some good defense. So I think the Broncos thought, hey, there's no way they're going to play him man-to-man all the time. I know this, the Giants, they want to have that second guy always looking at Wes Welker, no matter what the coverage is, if it's man-to-man or zone where they're all looking in there to see what's going on.
It was Nate Irving who made the tackle on Wilson on the return. Pins him back at the 15. Peyton with time. Over to Myers. It's away from Harris. And he's got maybe 2.
Eli Manning knows don't wait too long, get rid of the football, especially when you're backed up trying to start a drive in a situation like this. But good job by Myers getting out of bounds.
And for the first time today, I got the quarterbacks and the brothers mixed up as Eli completes that one for a gain of 1. 35 seconds now to go in the half. Snap from the 17. In traffic again, going back to Myers.
Well, Myers that time stopped. We had some discussions with Eli Manning how the inside receiver for the Giants, that time it's Myers. The other side, it could be Victor Cruz. They got to read the defense, decide what they're going to do. He slows down. Eli's thinking, hey, you're going to plow up between those defenders and I'll throw it in there, but lucky to get away with it.
Suddenly becomes a big play for both sides as if they fail to get the first, and Denver, with all of its timeouts, might have some time to do something with it. 3rd and 9. And Eli has his first down. And shaken off the hip is Nix and shoved out of bounds on the Broncos side of the field. He broke away from Wesley Woodyard and takes it for 34.
That took so long for him to finally come open. Let's play quarterback here. You're Eli Manning, waiting, and he stands in the pocket, and finally that deep in cut comes open. Nix on the outside. No, he was on the inside, sorry. He was just running the seam the whole way. He got bumped. That's why it took so long to come open.
First 3rd down conversion for the Giants with 20 seconds. And 2 timeouts. And a flag is out. Rogers Cromartie shaking his head.
Kind of see the difference, don't you, Jim, as you just sit here as a fan and you watch Peyton Manning tries to work underneath, looking for the shot. The Giants are always looking for the shot down the field. You have to make them throw it short. That's why they have 3 receivers. Like we know, Ruben Randall, you talk about it, Victor Cruz, Akeem Nix, all able to get down the field, be explosive, good targets, and can snatch the ball out of the air.
Defense, number 45, spot on the foul, automatic, first down.
Took a while before they were certain they were going to make that call.
But down at the bottom of the screen, I think they were trying to decide, is it going to be holding or pass interference? And that was the right call.
The hook move by Rogers Cromartie, and the football now rests at the 28. As you look at John Fox, who had a very successful stint here as the defensive coordinator for the Giants back from 97 through 01, thanking the Mara and Tisch families this week for that opportunity earlier in his career. 21-yard penalty.
What a quick switch. 3rd and long. They hit the play. Now they're down here looking for points.
Back going for 6. And it's intercepted in the end zone by Rogers Cromartie. Right after being flagged, he comes back with the takeaway.
He knew he had a safety in the middle of the field, so he stays outside. Eli Manning has to throw the football. Here comes the blitz from the outside. He gets hit. Doesn't get a good look at it. And the wide receiver, Nix is breaking inside. Never saw the football. So Jack Del Rio once again cannot, the defensive coordinator can't get pressure on Eli Manning, so they do it with the blitz.
Boy, they were down at the 28, so you thought the way Brown's been kicking it, 3 for sure. A great chance at 3 anyway, but after 6 turnovers against Dallas, that's the first of the day for the Giants.
Well, the blitz came from so far away, that would be hard for the receivers and the quarterback to read. Eli Manning saw it because it was coming at him, but I don't think Akeem Nix had any idea.
It means Denver goes to the locker room with the lead. It's the end of the first half with the score. The Broncos 10 and the Giants 9. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. NFL on CBS. Broncos lead the Giants 10-9. Third quarter about to begin. Just moments ago, Bill Parcells with the ring ceremony. And quite an emotional Coach Parcells we saw.
Well, it's time to sit back, Jim, and enjoy what you did. It's a tough journey when you're a coach in the NFL and you have the success he did, but make no doubt about it, as I tell people all the time, he was tough, and you know he was. He was tough, but he did it in such a way that, you could accept it. And I think that's the one good sign of a great coach.
No question. One of the greats, Bill Parcells. Now, here's a look at the Hall of Fame ring.
Beautiful.
How did he take all of the ribbing today at the roast? All those years you wanted to get a couple of clean shots in on the coach.
Hey, look.
Did you get them all in?
He could deliver it, but he could also take it. There's one thing. He can take it.
Good. Take a look at this DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. And it's the game's only touchdown to this point. Moreno following Franklin into the end zone as he scores from 20 yards out. And earlier this summer down in New Orleans, Peyton and Eli got together, had a little fun here with football on your phone.
Oh, it is funny.
So now is your chance to have football on your phone and football in your pants. Look at the sky.
Well, they shot it in New Orleans before the Manning Passing Academy. Went back to the old house they grew up in down in the Garden District of New Orleans. Eli's bedroom has now been converted to a nursery for all the grandchildren. Peyton's room had all kinds of memorabilia that Olivia and Archie wanted them to sign. So the boys, there was one room left, Cooper's old room, and they ended up sharing a bed together. The two quarterbacks today. Here's Wilson. This time he darts across the 20 to the 26. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Well, thanks, Jim. You guys mentioned Bill Parcells being honored at halftime. Well, what an embrace between him and Tom Coughlin when Coughlin came out of the locker room. I did have a chance to speak with Coughlin, and he told me about that interception. That is just a waste of an opportunity there. Obviously not happy. And then I asked him about how he liked how his team handled the tempo of Peyton Manning and this offense. And he looked at me and he said, "We're doing a really good job. We just have to do it in the second half, guys."
Well, that first series of the game for the Broncos, they marched right down the field, and then Monte Ball fumbled into the end zone, and they've never had that same kind of rhythm since. And here comes Eli and the Giants to start the second half. Their biggest play of the first half was their first one, 51 yards to Cruz. And now Eli in trouble, and they spin him down at the 15. Trevathan with the sack.
Eli Manning saw it. He could tell by the formation it was probably going to be a blitz. The Giants' offensive line, they get confused. Chris Snead can't get there to get the blitzer. Trevathan, you look at him. Wesley Woodyard, Ian Nacho, those three in the middle of that defense, they are aggressive and they can make plays.
That's the first sack of the game for either side. And a loss of 9, second and 19. And now, looking for a second option, comes back, and this time it's dropped by Randall. Reuben Randall took a hit from Tony Carter, couldn't hold on. First half numbers, Peyton throws for 200, Eli a $180. And again, no touchdown passes after 7 and 4 a week ago.
But really, you got to give the defenses a lot of credit. They're hanging in there, finding ways. Yeah, there was one big play over the top by Eli Manning, but the catch and then the tackle has been good. Usually that's a good sign of speed on the defensive side.
He's got Darrell Scott in the backfield, flanking him out of the shotgun on 3rd and 19. Coming back over to Cruz, and he's knocked down right away after the catch by Rogers Cromartie, and it'll be a 3 and out for the Giants.
How about this? 3rd and 19, and what do? They're going to come with the old double blitz. This is different. The Broncos don't say, "Oh, let's play prevent, give them 10 or 15 yards." When they get you in these kind of situations, they come after you, hoping to get the turnover. Giants, good blitz pickup. Good job by Eli Manning seeing it.
Weatherford will take the snap now from Zach Diassi, whose father Steve played for Coach Parcells and played with you for 5 years as a long snapper back on those glory teams. And it's Holiday at the 24. Stutter step move, and he gets past one Giant. Now slashing outside, and Holiday so dangerous. Able to get out to about the 46. He got away from Diassi at one point. 50-yard punt, but it's brought back 28. Good starting point for Peyton. How about this oddity? Same score as halftime of Super Bowl 21. Super Bowl 21 MVP is in the building today.
We had him all the way. I don't know what I was thinking at halftime, but I didn't think it would finish 39-20, that's for sure.
In fact, he's in the booth as Moreno is wrestled down at the 46. Now the Giants defense, they come out here for this first series of the second half without Pierre-Paul on the field.
No, he did not have a good first half, Jim. You talked about it. Had surgery in June. Coming back last week was his first action. It was tough and really didn't get much done in the first half.
2nd and 3. And it's Moreno. Finds a tiny little opening. And finally, he is taken down, but not until he has the first down. Ryan Mundy with the tackle. Virgil Green with a nice block.
Jim, look at the line. It all just goes right. This is an outside zone. That's what they call it. Nobody's blocking the man. Just block the space. Got the Giants going sideways, and Moreno cuts it up. I didn't think they were a very good outside running team, but these first 2 plays worked well.
Yep. 2 big gains on the ground. Now they've got ball in the backfield. He tries to get outside, but only has a yard. Basinger is hobbling to the sideline after making that tackle. And Mark Herzlich will come in for him. Giants with only 19 yards on the ground, 52 for the Broncos, with 20 of the 52 coming on the touchdown run by Moreno. 2nd and 9. They've got Decker and Thomas on the right side. No Welker on the field.
Expecting blitz, didn't get it.
And there's Decker. First down at the 22.
But what it did do, those 2 tight ends settled the defense down. There's no pass rush once again, and Peyton Manning gets the extra time to let the defense just kind of spread out, and he finds Eric Decker.
Now he sends his receivers to the left side. He'll take the snap from under center. It's ball as they stack that left side. But the Giants have a lot of bodies over there as well, and we restrict that to 2 yards. It's not too late, by the way, to sign up and play NFL.com fantasy football. Get the free mobile apps and exclusive instant highlights. Sign in, play for free, NFL.com/fantasy. And now you see Jason Pierre-Paul comes in.
Get him in there more in obvious passing situations. He says, look, he thinks he's got his legs underneath him. He told us that on Friday, and he can bend better after that back surgery.
2nd and 9. And that's Virgil Green with the catch.
You know, when I talk about Jim, go back to JPP, bending better, a good pass rusher's got to be able to go up the field and dip one of those shoulders and kind of go around the corner leaning sideways. That's what JPP could do 2 years ago, but that back stopped him a lot last year, and it hurt him, of course. That's why he had the surgery, so he could get back in there and make those type of plays.
It's 3rd and 4, and now they go with the spread. Welker in the slot to the left.
Blitz right! He's Mike! Blitz right!
Peyton across the middle. Demaryius Thomas. And he's dragged down by Corey Webster, but not until he picks up 10 and sets up 1st and goal to go.
It was pressure defense by the Giants, the blitz, everybody bumping their receiver at the line of scrimmage. And when you get in those situations, you can't go wrong throwing it to one of the big guys. And Thomas, he definitely classifies as that.
Now they flood the right side with Decker, Welker, and Thomas. 1st and goal over to Decker. Decker driving and stopped about 2 yards short by Mundy and company.
So great at these screen plays down inside the 15-yard line. They have a lot of ways to do it. Look how fast he throws it. 2 lead blockers. It's just as good as running that football up the middle. They pick up some valuable yards there. puts the situation in favor of the Denver Broncos.
Second and goal. Across the middle, touchdown. It's Welker.
He was double covered. They had the defense, but they went for the fake inside. Of course, how can you not? You think it could be a run that close to the goal line. Watch the defenders over to the left. They have Welker in and out. Terrell Thomas, watch 24 here. He looks in the backfield. If you look, it's too late.
Play action fake to Moreno, and it was wide open had they handed it off to him anyway, but they get it to Welker, and Peyton has a touchdown throw. Welker has his third touchdown catch of this young season, and Prater with the extra point makes it 17-9 Denver. Well, that's an impressive way to start the second half. Denver takes it down the field and scores a touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Captain Phillips, in theaters October 11th. And by Microsoft Surface. Click in and do more.
Aerial coverage in today's game is provided by MetLife. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson here at MetLife Stadium. Peyton 5 out of 5 on that drive, and the touchdown toss to Wes Welker.
Beautiful change of philosophy by the Broncos. Peyton got under center, the run game, different plays, worked very well. That's a halftime adjustment.
That's Wilson. Stop the yard shy of the 20. Last year, they were the best adjustment team in the league. Denver scored 7 second half opening drive touchdowns, and they've done that just here today.
Scored there like a bunch of crazed dogs. That's some fun.
I think that he's the best player in the league.
Well, I wouldn't say well.
The troubles continue for Lawrence Taylor.
The crime is not being knocked down. The crime is not getting up again.
The Life and Times, the story of Lawrence Taylor, premieres this Friday. Showtime, 8 p.m. Amazing documentary. Trials and tribulations. Lawrence Taylor is... LT was here today, and you had a chance to visit with him on the NFL Today, and we'll look forward to that documentary. Pete Radovich and Steve Karasik teaming up on that one, spending a year with him. Back here, we've got Lance Barrow and Mike Arnold producing and directing our broadcast from the 19. It's Eli firing it. A lot of zip on that as he finds Cruz for about 13.
Not afraid, Eli Manning. We talked about it earlier. There's not very many little short dump passes, are there, Jim? He's looking down the field, and if you do that, you need the talent for the guys to get down there, but you got to have an offensive line that gives you the time. The Giants' offensive line, overall, pass blocking, been very good today.
And again, the Giants with 19 yards rushing so far in this game. They've got Wilson in the backfield. Eli goes over 200 with that completion. Adds a few more with the hook up here to Ruben Randall for 7. Giants had some opportunities. Nix with the drop, dislocated the finger, but came back. And then, of course, right before the half, the interception, as the Giants were looking at least a field goal going into the locker room, which would have given them the lead at the intermission.
Well, now is not the time to start working on your run game. I think it's pretty evident they're going to have a hard time with it. Work on that during practice. Win this game, Eli Manning's got to do it throwing it.
On the sideline, and airtight, back too tight, called on Tony Carter. Manning up on Ruben Randall. See what Gene Steratore has to say about this.
Pass interference. Defense, number 32. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Tony Carter never top of the screen. Just never turns around and finds the football. He's in great position. Puts his hand there. And Eli Manning has thrown so many passes when the defender has not looked at the quarterback over the years. Most of the time he'll throw those on a line drive behind the wide receiver. a tough job for Tony Carter.
It's a 30-yard penalty. Fourth defensive flag on the Broncos. Delay give. Wilson. Knighton got to him first. He's a big presence on that defensive front for Denver, coming over by way of Jacksonville.
Well, Jack Del Rio, defensive coordinator, knows him well. He had him down in Jacksonville when he's the head coach. And if Terrence Knighton turns to the form that he had a couple years ago, this is a big pickup for this Denver Broncos interior defensive line. And they are big. We've seen it today. They can stop the run. And Terrence Knighton, back in shape, doing a good job.
You called it one of the steals of the offseason.
They got a few steals over there. Rogers Cromartie, I think that was a wonderful pickup too. And then you've already said it today, Ian Nacho, the safety coming in, undrafted. How about that?
Second and 10. It's Cruz on the run, and he's got another first. Racing just ahead of Chris Harris for 11.
Trying to play a slot receiver like this, man-to-man cover. Look at all the space that Chris Harris has to cover. It's just almost impossible with the rules, the talent of the receivers, the imagination of the coordinators, and of course the league is loaded with good throwers now.
Sixth catch for Cruz, moving in on 100. 93 yards for Cruz. First down, Giants. It's Nix at the 10. Tried to sidestep Rogers Cromartie, who holds on by the ankles, and the Giants have a goal-to-go situation.
Eli Manning's getting too much time, so let's send the blitzer at him. David Wilson misses him, but it doesn't matter. He made him go around him. Nice job by Eli Manning drifting. Boy, he's so good in the pocket. He was absolutely magnificent against the Cowboys last week, Jim. He threw a touchdown, a lot of big completions just by moving with people all around him.
He's hit his last 5 throws. An impressive response by the Giants after the Broncos scored on their first possession of the half. Down to the 3 with Cruz. We do have a flag.
That was a run play, and Eli Manning says, oh, I like my matchup to my right, so he took the pass.
Legal use of the hands, hands to the face. Defense, number 99. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
We'll take the penalty against Vickerson. Half the distance to the goal, and first down coming up for the Giants.
Here he is, number 99. Got his hands high.
I'm already starting to think ahead here. If the Giants find the end zone for the first time, I know it's still just the third quarter. Would you go for the 2 to try to tie it?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I've really been doing the calculations. And I've always gone by this. Don't chase the points, especially this early. I would kick the extra point.
It's Jacobs. Boy, was Jacobs happy to be back in a Giants uniform, and you Denver fans might want to know that he came in for a workout. It came down to Jacobs and Willis McGahee, and of course with the familiarity that Jacobs has with the playbook, that made things a pretty easy decision.
And he's as big as he is. They got the runner. They need the big power back, and that's what Brandon Jacobs can bring to him. Tom Coughlin says he knows the offense. He's humbled, and his teammates like him. So he brought some energy to the football team this week.
Second and goal. Darrell Scott, the running back. And it's Scott. Push back. Maybe got a yard. And all that talk about will they go for 2 or not? Well, they've got to first find the end zone. They got a big snap coming up.
Number 59, Denny Trevathan flies through there. Boy, Knighton again. In on the tackle.
Del Rio communicates with Wesley Woodyard in the helmet. Scott stays in as the back.
Well, it looks like they're going to double cover the 2 inside receivers and make Eli Manning throw it outside.
The end zone and knocked out of the hands of Nix. Oh, the flag comes in. Rogers Cromartie broke it up. But the officials were going to weigh in on this one.
Pass interference. Defense, number 45. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down, New York
First down, the
Giants.
third penalty against the Denver defense on this drive alone.
Top of the screen comes inside. Oh, they're calling it for that right arm that they're going to say he turned him. It's a bad call. It's a really bad call. That's only a penalty if you turn the receiver. I did not see any movement that time from Nix.
Jacobs signed on Tuesday. 5 days later, will he score? Here he is. Trying to power it across. No gain. Trevathan and Knighton were there to meet him and get another flag.
As they sort that out, I remember John Fox last year said, what do you need? More size inside. He got it. We're seeing it take effect here in some of these plays when the Giants run the ball.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting. Defense, number 94. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
And now a fourth penalty on the Denver defense this series. On Knighton.
Watch 94. What a stop. Hitting Brandon Jacobs and just stopping him cold. But when he gets up, a little push. And now he's talking to him. You know, I like the fact, Jim, that they're trying to clean this up. But boy, that was a tough call.
Jacobs, the back out of the eye, gets the handle, gets the touchdown, and welcome back.
It's good to be home. Well, you can tell it's going to be hard for the Giants to run the football. The offensive line just not healthy and powerful enough probably to get it done at this time week in and week out. The big running back can cure a few of those ills.
They're going to go for one. Going to go with the PAT try from Josh Brown.
I'm sure that chart, I've looked at that chart, I don't know, people don't use it anymore. It doesn't factor in time left in the game, so Tom Coughlin, he agreed with me, kick the extra point.
17-16 Denver. Giants pick up 8 first downs on that drive, 4 of them via penalties. And Jacobs takes it home after coming home on Tuesday.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Moto X, designed by you, assembled in the USA. And by New York Life Insurance Company.
Jacobs' last rush touchdown as a Giant was in the 2011 divisional playoff game at Green Bay. And again, Brown booms it impressively. Each team's had it once. And the last 2 times they've had the ball, we've had touchdowns each side. We're back, and here are the numbers so far for the Mannings. And again, each team has driven it down the field for touchdowns here in this third quarter. Denver first. Giants came right back with one of their own. Here's Manning. Peyton. Ball is out. It's going to be ruled as a catch on the field. Scooped up by Moreno. And now the Giants are going to hope that the original catch was in fact not a catch.
Yeah, I do not think he caught it. He did not get complete control of this football. Now Tom Coughlin's got to make a fast decision over there.
Peyton has him at the line. He gets the snap off, so now it's in the books as Decker is unable to hold on to it. Yeah, did he have the football move and enough for to be ruled a catch? Well, it doesn't matter now. Not an opportunity there for Coughlin to challenge it.
Yeah, it looks like it, but you got to remember, you said it, you got to have clear possession of the football, and then a football move, time has to elapse. It can't be a bang-bang play, in my opinion, but when he got it, it was a bang-bang play.
2nd and 10, that's ball. And right into the heart of that Giants defense for 2 yards.
Here we go, let's watch it as he comes across. That's a bang-bang play to me. That's an incomplete pass. But was it worth a challenge in a tight game? If you lose it, maybe that's why Tom Coughlin says, I'm not willing to gamble because of the position on the field.
He also just didn't have enough time to really get the word from upstairs because Peyton raced him to the line.
Somebody upstairs has got to be courageous enough to throw that decision down there.
Well, it won't matter if they stop him here on 3rd and 8, and they've got Peyton wrapped up, and he gets away. Now throws, and he's got Decker. We do have a penalty flag. Sean Rogers had him for the sack, and Peyton was able to shake it off.
You got to remember, Peyton Manning is 6'6". He is a big man, so even though he's not a scrambler.
Legal use of hands. Hands to the face. Defense. Number 23. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
95 inside. Sean Rogers grabs him. Can't bring him down. Good job of finding Decker down the field for the completion.
It's Decker's 6th catch. Fake the run, step up and fire it down the middle. Back to Decker, who's pummeled back to the 35. And throw roll to one who hit him, but 15 picked up on this play.
Very good, stepping up in the pocket. Boy, he really stepped up, and he took a big hit. But how about this route by Eric Decker? He comes inside. The defender thinks he's going to break back out because he sold it up the field, and at the last second turned it in.
Moreno falls backwards to near the 29.
Sean Rogers. The Giants, you almost have to get down and start counting using your fingers and toes when you talk about all the defensive linemen they have on their roster and who they took to training camp. They have great depth there. Sean Rogers, one of those good backups.
Final minute of the 3rd.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Iwanuka, you talk about coming back from injury. How about Sterator? Just about 3 months ago, tore his Achilles. It's surgery. I mean, that's an injury that keeps the rest of the guys that are on the field out for a whole year. Okay.
I've been watching him because I knew that. He doesn't even backpedaling that time. Pretty good.
2nd and 2. Moreno, first down, got the edge. Moreno with another long run to the end zone and a touchdown.
Almost the same play. The first time they pitched it, this time he handed it off, and Virgil Green gets the excellent block on the outside. When a runner goes outside in any league, high school, you got to talk the tight end. Watch 85. Gets out there, comes off. Beautiful job.
Boy, did he seal it. And there's Decker downfield, shoving Corey Webster off balance.
Well, these wide receivers there, Decker, he blocked really well down the field when they were running the football to Tim Tebow. He's kept it up, even when Peyton Manning's the quarterback.
It's 25 yards that time for Moreno after a first half 20-yard touchdown run. That's his first multi-touchdown game since 2010. We said, welcome home to Jacobs. Welcome home to New Jersey. Middletown's very own Moreno scoring twice. Well, the scoring opening up here in the 3rd quarter. A second Bronco touchdown after the half. Won by the Giants. 80 yards, and Moreno having a big day. 67 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He's also caught 3 passes.
You got to give the Broncos a lot of credit. Just the change in philosophy, the formations, running formations. Now all of a sudden, what happens when the quarterback goes under center, Jim? You're able to deceive the defense easier. So the play action fakes, have given Peyton the time and let the receivers get down the field for those nice completions.
Broncos trying to win a 13th consecutive regular season game. Have not lost since week 5 last year at New England. Includes a 6-game road win streak in the regular season. College football next Saturday. Boy, how do you back up 49-42 Alabama over A&M, which we had yesterday in a thriller? Well, next week, Vern, Gary, Tracy will all be down in the swamp to see Florida hosting Tennessee. Eli's pass caught for a gain of 8. And that is Ruben Randall, brought down by Tony Carter. Hey, we just want to send along our best to Jason Lockenforos, our insider on the NFL Today. His wife, Lauren, that is really. She was the victim of a hit-and-run accident near their home this weekend. And everyone at CBS wishes her a very speedy recovery. We're thinking of the Lockenforos. We're through 3 quarters here. Denver leads it 24-16. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Broncos and Giants starting the 4th quarter. Peyton's side up by 8. He's won the 2 previous encounters against his younger brother. And here's Eli to start the quarter, trying to find Randall, and the Broncos say they came up with it. Chris Harris, a diving attempt off the deflection, is broken up by Tony Carter. Ruben Randall was the target. I thought he'd make the catch.
What a job by Tony Carter. That is, Ruben Randall loses ground, allows Tony Carter to come underneath him. That's a sin on those in routes. And of course, since it's a turnover, Jim, it will be reviewed upstairs.
The ball now. Carter does a great job stepping in front of this one. And does it hit his foot? Yes, it hits the back of his heel. Never hit the ground and lands right in the arms of Chris Harris.
2 free agent players for the Denver Broncos. Talked about that with John Fox last night, to get 2 guys this good that can cover. Way to be alert by Chris Harris.
Wow. What a bounce. And now from the 36. Moreno having a huge afternoon. Give him another 9.
Nice cutback that time. They've been going outside with those runs, so the Giants defense overreacts. Good job by Ramirez inside at center. Virgil Green gets a little block to seal it on the outside. Well, the Denver offensive line, they were maybe the best run blocking team in the league 2 years ago.
Moreno has a first down, slides right off the hit and keeps on driving ahead.
Run to daylight. He saw a little daylight in the backside, and Pacers are not able to bring him down.
Hey, he was really the forgotten back coming into the season. Even though he started at the end of last year, everybody was talking about Hillman coming along in his 2nd year, Ball being their big pick in the 2nd round. 2 touchdowns on the day and 90 yards rushing for Moreno. Here's Decker. Down to the 8.
I think when we're getting ready for this game, I even said to you, well, they can pass block. I like their offensive line, but they're just not as aggressive as they used to be. How can you be? They throw it so much. But in the second half here, the Broncos changing this offense. It's got this offensive line cranking again, and they're running the football well.
2nd and 5. They can pick up the first at the 3. Peyton has Monte Ball behind him, who fumbled down at this end in the 1st quarter on a carry. But they go to him anyway, and he's met right away by Joseph. and a loss of 3.
Linville Joseph, we talked about how big, just a tough cutoff block that time for Luis Vasquez, couldn't get there. And really just, he's too big to think you're going to run in front of him like that and stop him. The only way to get him down is to go low. Try to cut him at the ankles.
3rd and 8. Trying to cash in on the interception. Signal for a timeout.
He made it.
Just could not restart things and get the new play in time. Timeout, Denver. We were talking to John Fox yesterday about his quarterback, Peyton. He said he's like another coach on the field, another coordinator, trying to get everybody set into a new play, and the down clock was about to expire.
That's what amazes me, Jim. The energy it takes to do all the talking, the gyrations, and what goes on. He's been doing it for a long time, though. He's conditioned to it.
He's got 3rd and 8 here at the Giants' 11. Caught, and Thomas broke the plane before the football came out. Touchdown, Julius Thomas.
Was Julius Thomas, is there contact? Yes. He catches the ball. He's going down. Oh, it's a second football move. That could change everything. I think that's going to stay a touchdown. He's got it. Control. Another move with the football.
What an X factor he's becoming. Just another weapon. His 3rd touchdown here in 2 weeks.
Well, Tom Coughlin is wanting to know why that is not reviewed.
Well, every touchdown has to be confirmed, and obviously someone said it was fine. And the lead is now 15. The former basketball player at Portland State who went to 2 NCAA tournaments, didn't play football until his last year, has the touchdown.
On CBS is sponsored by Don John, the new comedy starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Scarlett Johansson, in theaters September 27th. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Peyton Manning now with 9 touchdowns and no interceptions in the first 2 weeks of the season. That's the most touchdown passes, ties the most by any player in the history of the league through 2 weeks. And Julius Thomas has 3 of them. And Wilson will take a knee. And what was the call on the catch by Thomas?
Well, I'm sure Tom Coughlin was explaining the rule. If he would have right here, if he would have fallen to the ground right there and the ball would have come loose, it would have been incomplete. But he gathers himself and makes another football move, and that allows it. So he crosses the goal line, Jim. It's a touchdown. The same play that we had in the Super Bowl. Colts in New Orleans, if you remember. The second move allows it where you don't have to hold it to the ground.
That was a Lance Moore catch you're talking about.
Good memory.
Yep. And of course all scores
are
reviewed and was confirmed upstairs. Thomas and Antonio Gates type, they're hoping, former basketball player. As Eli has his work cut out for him now with 12 minutes to go. That's 5 to Myers.
Little blitz again. That time it was Mike Adams, and Eli is survived, never missed a start, never basically missed a play because he knows how to take a punch. Plain and simple.
And Mike Adams all over him. But they gain 5. Dumps it off now to Scott for the first. Didn't have to start racing down the field like they did in the comeback last week against Dallas, when it certainly seemed like for a while they just might be able to pull that one off.
Yeah, I understand this is a different defense here. This is a much more sounder than the Dallas Cowboys. They have more speed and I think more cover guys too. So Eli Manning's got to take his time, not panic and take a chance.
They go down and there's nothing there. Nice play by Malik Jackson. Trips him up quickly. Scott dropped for the loss of 2.
Number 97, Malik Jackson. How about that? Gets on there from the University of Tennessee. Has gotten bigger every year since he's been in the NFL. Well, it's only a couple years, but plays defensive end, plays inside in situations like this when you know the other team is going to throw the football.
2nd and 12. Down the field and over the head of Randall.
The throwaway that time by Eli Manning. As I looked at it, got a great view from here. This Giant Stadium, our booth is close to the field so you can see the players, but nobody open, so he really basically just threw it away.
Hey, base, 52 and 30, 52 and 30. Base, 52 and 30. You got 30.
It's 3rd and long. They expect blitz. That's why they kept 2 people back in the backfield with Eli Manning.
Well, got all kinds of time. Pass a little too steep for Nix, and Moore just bats it away.
Good change up that time by the Denver Broncos. They did not blitz. Eli Manning just a little late with the football. If he anticipates just a hair, drives it, he's going to get it in there. Devin Gilbert, a little frustration catching the football.
Giants just 1 out of 9 today on 3rd down, and with 10.5 to go, they will punt. Weatherford picked up on the 2nd bounce by Holiday. Holiday zips past a number of players, and here he goes. He is gone. 81 yards.
So fast. How about that? Lots of guys, Jim, thought, and I thought maybe they got the angle, but he can get through those lanes so fast. And right here, he turns it up and turns it on. And I know there were a couple Giant defenders there thought they were going to be able to get a shot at him, but no.
3rd touchdown by the Broncos in 5 minutes and 12 seconds. After the Giants had trimmed it to 17-16. Holiday, who in that loss in the divisional round to the Ravens, had the longest postseason punt return touchdown in NFL history of 90 yards, and the 2nd longest kickoff return in postseason history for a touchdown, 104. He is amazing. A lightning bolt and maybe a backbreaker for the Giants. Trendon Holiday with his 5th career kick return touchdown. He's 5'5" out of Zachary, Louisiana, and was the 100-meter champ in college at LSU, the NCAA champ, and you saw it with that run back of 81 yards. What a weapon he is. And Houston cut him last year.
Well, the speed gets the nice bounce of the football, and as he turns it up, you think, okay, right here, the Giants got, this is where he turns it on and just runs through it.
You know, he's the guy that last year never lost a regular season game. He was with the Texans till
that's right,
about mid-October. They were undefeated when they decided to let go of him. Denver picked them up, and of course Denver closed out the regular season with 11 straight wins last year.
See,
then he had the 2 touchdowns in the postseason, but they lost the game.
Green, go, go.
See,
Green,
Denver
go,
can
go.
afford to pick him up. They don't need depth at wide receiver. They're guys that take every snap in the game.
Randall, and it's Tony Carter on him right away for a loss of 2.
talked about it a lot today, but the corners, the cover people for the Broncos, aggressive. Tony Carter, Chris Harris, Rogers Cromartie.
Well, this is a Denver defense still missing some of its key parts, with Von Miller out the first 6 weeks. Champ Bailey missing the first 2 games with that foot injury. That's Myers tumbling down at the 43 and a first. He's tripped up by Moore, and I thought he might have been shaken up. Gain of 25.
Boy, beautiful throw by Eli Manning. But, you know, Jim, we see it, not to get into it, but you can't go high to hit them. You can't do, there's a lot of things you can't do as a defender. So a lot of these guys, especially when it's big offensive players, they just go low to take them out.
I don't care how much padding you have on, but when you're that big and you fall that far, land with a thud like that, you're going to be left woozy. Taking the spot of Martellus Bennett, who ended up going over to the Chicago Bears after the season. And Bennett coming up with the huge plays today in the Bears' last-second victory. So this is more than just having the wind knocked out of him for Myers, the former Raider tight end.
Well, it's a scary moment for him. It really is. You're sitting there just wondering, because so many things can race through your mind.
Take a little injury timeout here as Myers gets some attention. And actually, as Myers hops to his feet, ball will be back in play here at the 44. You talked about 0-2 and how difficult that is to rebound from, and I know the Giant fans out there are well aware that they were 0-2 back in 2007, but went on to win the Super Bowl. But I also know, has been pointed out, that the last 3 years, the 26 teams that started out 0-2, not a one of them made the postseason.
League is so competitive. We saw that today. Did anybody think the San Diego Chargers would beat the Eagles?
That was an impressive road win. Pasco comes in for Myers and picks up about 9.
Now, we talked to Tom Coughlin about that, and he wasn't going to say, oh, this is a must game for us. He just said, look, if we did fall to 0-2, we are one of those teams that started 0-2 and did win a Super Bowl. The NFC East, as you look at it, you don't really see a team just running away with it.
As Scott picks up the first down. Well, Philadelphia is now 1-1 after the Chargers beat them in the Eagles' home opener today. Washington falls to 0-2. In fact, they were really getting completely destroyed up there in Green Bay. The final score is a lot more respectable and competitive than the game really was. And the Cowboys fall to 1-1 with their loss in Kansas City, as the Chiefs have matched now through 2 weeks the win total of a year ago. Almost intercepted. These are some of the topics you'll have under discussion with Inside the NFL. You, JB, Chris Collinsworth, rendezvous Wednesday at 9 on Showtime. A show that's in a league all by itself.
You know, we really don't have that good of a time.
It sure looks like.
We know we faked it for the cameras. Yeah, Lance Merrill goes, we don't see you smile that much.
Yeah, you're out of smiles and laughs by the time we see you on Fridays.
Good point.
Second down and 10.
Well, I got to go with my strength.
Yeah, hold back a little bit this week, will you?
My strength is...
Eli able to get away, and now spinning and throwing in the area of Myers, who came back after sitting down 2 plays. Did a good job preventing the sack on 2 occasions. We've got a Bronco down. And it's Ian Nacho. And now as the Denver staff is out tending to him at midfield. We will step aside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. And by Subway. Any regular footlong is a $5 footlong at Subway this September.
Iheanacho was helped to the sideline with an apparent knee injury. And he's replaced by Mike Adams. The Giants have a 3rd and 10 with 7:50 to go. One for the home run here to Cruz, and 3 Broncos back defending, and it's Carter who swats it away.
Well, they outran the football, trying to get Victor Cruz, who reads the coverage, even though you think he might be doubled.
Giants will go for it here on 4th down. Eli's completed 3 out of 10 now on 3rd down, and again, the Giants, as far as converting on 3rd downs for the day, only 1 out of 10. But this is 4th down. Need to get just inside the 35 to keep the drive going. Well, they're going again for the home run. And to Randall, and it's intercepted in the end zone. And that's Moore taking a knee. Raheem Moore.
Well, that was a worthwhile shot. You're hoping that your guy can go up and get it. Pass interference. It always favors the offense with the new rules.
It's the second pass picked off in the end zone as they went for broke on that one.
One thing you got to like, the Denver Broncos, all 3 defensive backs that time, everybody was looking for the football. David Bruton. Here comes Raheem Moore from across the field, reading the quarterback, and when it's thrown that high and far, you can recover and make the interception.
So they keep number 18 in there. Peyton with the 22-point lead. Moreno, a loss of a yard. That number 18 belonged to the first quarterback in Denver history, Frank Tripucka, who threw the first touchdown in AFL history back in 1960 and is remembered in the Broncos Ring of Honor. He passed away just actually a few miles from here in New Jersey on Thursday. Frank Tripucka, the legendary Notre Dame quarterback, the Bronco Ring of Honor quarterback, and on Saturday, some of Frank's sons, he had 7 kids in all. There's Mark and TK, and of course you remember Kelly, the great basketball star. They came over and had a chance to say hello to Peyton. They all were wanting to express how proud they are that Peyton wears their father's number with such honor. Peyton told me he was going to, when he was signed, he knew that the number was retired. That he was not going to wear it. He did not think it was right. But there's a phone call made to the Tripucka family. Peyton told the folks in Denver, I'll take number 16. No one knew that before. But he called, he spoke to Mr. Tripucka, and he said, please, I want you to wear it.
Great honor. You know, Peyton Manning very happy about it, and it was good to see the Tripucka boys there yesterday to see Peyton Manning kind of relive some good moments of their father.
Yes, and our thoughts go out to the entire Tripucka family on their loss. The great man, Frank Tripucka. 3rd and 7 here for Peyton. He'll come up short as it's Julius Thomas down to about the 27.
Think about this game real quick, Jim. Giants making mistakes, penalties, turnovers, whatever. The Denver Broncos, not as many mistakes, but their ability to line up and run the football. It made them more deceptive, kind of opened things up, and Peyton Manning made some big throws. Can't be one-dimensional in this league, that's for sure.
There's Colquitt. Knows a little bit about a sibling rivalry in the NFL. His brother, Dustin, a punter in Kansas City. His father, Craig, playing the Archie role, if you will, a punter back on that great Steeler dynasty a couple of generations ago. And a fair catch made by Jernigan. 44-yard punt. Early headlines, well, again, the Packers were out in front 31-0 on the Redskins. Went on to blitz them. Cutler connects with the last-second touchdown. They're now 2-0, edging out Minnesota. And San Diego almost had the win against Houston on Monday night. They travel east. No one thinks they're going to have anything off of that performance, but they do. They beat Philadelphia 33-30 in that shootout. And there you see the Chiefs at 2-0 on the season. And Andy Reid will be catching up with his old Philadelphia team later this week in a matchup. They're telling us from the Denver sideline that the Iheanacho injury is ankle related. As Eli fires it. Oh, what a hit by Moore as he levels Nix.
Player goes up. He is defenseless. Did he hit him with the headgear?
Hit him right on the left shoulder, right shoulder.
Well, they're discussing that right now, Jim. You know what? That happened so fast when we saw it real speed.
You
could not tell.
Yeah.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 26. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, that's the way they saw it. So they flag him.
Well, he's hit high, and listen, they're always going to err on this side. It looks like the helmet goes up near the neck and headgear area. But you know what? What do you do? And I'm not, look, it's for the safety of the game. I understand the call. But boy, if he goes lower and hits him in the midsection or the legs, or pretty tough spot for the defenders. But I do agree with the rules.
104 yards and penalties against the Broncos. Darrell Scott gets another handle out to about the 48. As we move inside of 5 minutes to go. Cruz first down. And steps out of bounds at the 39.
Little blitz that time. Eli Manning knows it right away. Victor Cruz. Smart, save a few seconds. Of course, always smart to avoid a hit.
And the Giants for the day, 27 yards on the ground. That's a catch for Donnell. First-year player out of Grambling with his first career catch.
How about that target? Giants high on him. He's big, can run, good blocker. He's going to get some extra playing time as this year goes on and goes along.
In the direction of Randall, and flags everywhere. Tony Carter hopping mad about that.
So John Fox.
Prior to the pass, holding defense, number 32, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's a good call. Hands outside, grabs them both.
4 minutes, 10 seconds, and down 3 scores. Eli able to get it away to Scott, who takes off to the end zone for the touchdown.
What a play.
Darrell Scott kicking it into another gear. It looked like Eli was pinned shut, but somehow was able to squirt that ball out of there and get it into the arms of Scott, who really showed us something here.
Yeah, he's a blocker. Eli Manning is squeezed out of more hot spots for a quarterback that's not going to run away from trouble. Just steps up. Well, we saw so much of that last week. He stepped up out of trouble against the Cowboys many times. We saw him throw a pass left-handed, but And Scott was not even going to go out, but there was nobody to block, so he finally snuck out. Eli Manning found him.
And Robert Ayers slow to get up. Speaking of stepping up, it looked like Woodyard had a foot right around the shoulder pad area as Eli was trying to get out of that jam. Nice job by Weatherford getting that down and secure for Brown to drive it home for the PAT. So we still have 4 minutes to go, so can't rule anything out quite yet. 38-23. It's a 2-score game.
Absolutely. 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning.
There you see Joe Ellis. Brass here for the Broncos, John Elway.
You know what I think of every time I see Joe Ellis? He put signs up around calling. What was he calling us out there? Because every time we did a Broncos game in Denver, they would lose.
That was a few years ago.
Yeah, I know, a couple years ago. So it was
they had like a whole voodoo thing happening against us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had a bobblehead doll of each of us, if you will. I think it had a few pins in each of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. Then they won that playoff game against the Steelers.
Yeah. And we weren't there, by the way, for the playoff game against Baltimore.
Good point. Well, you really get, it's why in this league you coach to the end. And just what we saw yesterday, it's a little harder in the pros because the talent and the clock can work against you. But you saw Alabama and A&M. You think, well, there's no way Texas A&M can win. Those scores can happen. Big plays are there. So the Giants will see Denver in an onside kick mode, no doubt.
You've seen it there that Josh Brown in his career, 2 out of 14.
They're going to try it right here.
Onside kicks. Was he past the 10 yards?
Yes, he was.
I don't think they're going to say he was. That was Donnell, who we just talked about, the big target out of Grambling, who made a catch on that last Giants drive.
Jim, no, he wasn't. I was looking at the wrong yard marker.
Yeah, I think he was about a half yard too early.
Illegal touching. Kicking team touched the football before it went 10 yards. The ball will be placed at the spot of the illegal touch. First down, Denver.
Just a fraction too soon.
Got to go past the 45. And it's caught at the 44-yard line is when he touches it.
Doesn't matter that he lands.
Nope, there's where the ball is.
Yards.
He touched it way before, not way before, a yard before.
Yeah.
So. Well, it was exciting for a moment.
It's amazing how open that was for him. If he had just timed that a little better.
I need thicker glasses.
Run it up the gut. And nothing there for Ball. By the way, back on the doubleheader train next week. Early, most of you are going to see the 2-0 Texans against Baltimore, plus other regional action. And then the late game, going to almost the entire nation. Andrew Luck heads back west to meet up with his old college coach. Colts and the 49ers, and it all gets started at noon Eastern with the NFL today. 20-5. Together, Jim Harbaugh, Andrew Luck at Stanford, including a 12-win season in 2010. First time that ever happened out there in Palo Alto.
Well, Jim Harbaugh's got the magic touch with quarterbacks, no doubt. He was a good one in the NFL. He can coach them, and he has an eye for talent.
By the way, the Giants did call a timeout after stopping Ball for no gain. They have 2 remaining. Go! This Ball again. It's time for about 3, and the Giants again use up a timeout. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the Broncos and the Giants. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms and Tracy Wolfson. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast.
Situations like this, Jim, when the defense is antsy, they want to make a play. As a quarterback, I always love going out there, beg everybody in the offensive side, don't jump, and using some type of snap count to get yourself 5 cheap yards so you can get that 1 first down to really get rid of the clock. It was one of my strengths.
Moreno now becomes the featured back. He's 7 yards away from 100. And has the 2 touchdowns. They fake to him, and they look down the field and get the first with Decker. Picks up 10, and Peyton now goes over 300 for the day.
Yeah, they weren't just going to put up and say, hey, we're going to give it back to the Giants and make this game interesting. So they make the aggressive call on the offensive side. They know they're going to get single coverage out there. Nice fake. Really good throw by Peyton Manning. Well, he's an excellent sideline thrower on those play-action passes. He did it many times, of course, with the Indianapolis Colts, and has carried it over with the Broncos.
Last week, both brothers were over 400. Today, they're both over 300. And Decker has a career-high 9 catches. And it's ball for 3 more. Peyton in this second half, 12 out of 13. It's interesting. They came out of the locker room. You talked about adjustments, and that first possession of the second half really set the tone for what happened the rest of this way. Right down the field and scoring the touchdown. Now they've got another Bronco down. It's Clady.
Broncos can't wait to get this game over with. I mean, it's just... Nacho, the safety. That's a big deal. Of course, Ryan Clady, one of the best left tackles in the NFL.
Yeah, here in the late going in the 4th quarter.
But you're right, Jim. It's just what they've done. The Broncos, the big changeup. Oh, this is what happens.
Oh, yeah.
One of the defenders falls in the back of his left ankle or his foot.
Timeout called by the Giants, their last timeout. They've had Clady go down in this quarter. Iheanacho. We saw Ayers also shaken up in this quarter. They hope to have Champ Bailey and Joel Dreesen back in uniform next week. They missed the first couple of games. It's a Denver team that figures in many ways only to get better. When you talk about Von Miller being added to the mix and the first ballot Hall of Famer in Champ Bailey, a team that could very likely be right back at this stadium come February the 2nd. What do you think?
Well, I think they're the favorites in the AFC. As you look at their schedule, also it's a new offensive coordinator in Adam Gase. So Peyton Manning says, look, we're still kind of figuring out what we're going to do, him and I. Of course, it's worked well the first 2 games. And getting Wes Welker even more involved in this offense.
Broncos will be playing the Raiders next week, and 3 minutes away from making it a perfect day for the AFC West. All wins. Peyton down the field. And the receiver, Decker, hit the ground, but they say no contact from Webster. Oakland with a win today over Jacksonville. Kansas City defeats Dallas. San Diego, the surprising road win at Philadelphia. And now 4th and 8. Denver up 15. Will give the football back to the Giants.
Yeah, that's where you see the injury for Peyton Manning. That throw before he got injured, he would have thrown that back shoulder and ripped it down the field. Now he just has to be a little careful, and it doesn't get there.
I say they're going to give it back. They're going to actually try the field goal attempt from 47 yards from Matt Prater
to make it a 3-score game.
Yeah. Can't get much better than that. Prater. 41-23. Giants gave up 36 to the Cowboys last week, and now 41 today to Denver. 6 turnovers by the Giants week 1. 3 more turnovers today, all picks. we said at the very start of the game, we saw Archie and Olivia, mom and dad, watching the game. They don't relish these matchups. They know they're coming. They see the schedule. And it's like Jack and Jackie Harbaugh watching their sons coach last year in the Super Bowl. They know that one of them's going to walk away on the short end of it. And there's an old saying around here that you hate losing a lot more than you love winning.
Oh.
And when it pertains to one of your kids.
Yes. Well, that's right, to the kids, but it also pertains to the league, Jim. It's so much, that is so true. You just take a deep breath when you win and you go, all right, a little relief, but losing, and of course the Giants, the way they're losing, not able to run the football the way they want to, and the turnovers.
You saw Wilson back there. No fumbles today, but 7 carries, 17 yards. He was supposed to be such a big part of what the Giants would be doing offensively this year. And again, he holds on tight out to the 29.
Now, you know, I'll say this about the Giants offense. They are a aggressive, you know, play to the edge type of team. But as we see, like when you showed around the league, and I looked at some of those numbers from all those quarterbacks, nowadays, the league, the way the rules are, the way the talent is with the receivers and the quarterbacks, and their willingness to spread and throw it, you put up big numbers with no mistakes. That's what these coaches expect.
Hey, BJ. 518.
Donnell. He tried to field that onside kick, but did so a little too early. Has a second catch. This one goes for 8. And the Giants are out of timeouts. And right back to him again. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. Denver on its way to its 13th straight regular season win. 7 of them coming on the road. We're back with the handoff, and now let's take even away a little bit more yardage from that rushing total for the Giants as Scott loses 4. "23 yards now. That's all the Giants have to account for on the ground. The shovel pass. Scott unable to handle it. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and 2 big interviews. Syria's President Assad and President Obama. Followed by a new episode of Big Brother, plus The Good Wife and The Mentalist, tonight only CBS. The Giants have a real problem here after 2 weeks. They just getting nothing out of the backfield.
Yes. Look, the offensive line a little healthy, back together. They survived this game. That's good.
Eli alertly picks it up. Gets it to Cruz. It'll be 2 yards shy of a first.
You know, they're going to have to go back on tomorrow on that drawing board and decide how they want to manage games and go about this.
4th and 2. And Randall in traffic draws the flag.
Pass interference, defense, number 32, spot on the foul, first down.
Well, let's see down the field. Well, he does make contact. He puts his arm out in front. Tony Carter does. Look, they got to call that. Even late in the game where you say, well, it doesn't mean anything. Well, you can't act that way as an official. A penalty's a penalty. Throw the flag.
13th penalty against Denver.
It's a little problem for them too. You're going to play aggressive on the outside. There's a fine line.
Eli lost it to the goal line, and the ball was ruled incomplete. I thought he was out of bounds. Scott. Well, he's pushed out of bounds. He's pushed out of bounds, and he never established his own ground back in the field of play.
Well, if he was pushed out of bounds, that's illegal. It's too far down the field.
57 seconds to go. And another interception in the end zone. Tony Carter with no Giant in sight.
Those are the worst. It's the worst. Not only it's the, here we go, one of my favorite terms, miscommunication, because somebody made a mistake there. And I'm not going to blame the wide receiver. When you read routes, which the Giants do, it could be short, long. But to throw an interception this late in the game, it's throwing gasoline on the fire.
That's 4 picks now.
Those hurt.
It ties a career high.
You know why, Jim, too? Because it's the number. You know, even as a quarterback, hey, throw 4 picks, can't win. Doesn't matter how they happen. It's the fact that there's 4 interceptions.
Yeah, it looked like a miscommunication again with Ruben Randall. And this is one player talking about Randall, who I thought might have a big game here today after all the things we heard over at the facility. The second-year player who had a 100-yard performance last week, but there have been some mistakes every time they went in his direction. And here we go, the brothers will meet. Peyton wins Manning Bowl 3 to go 3-0 in the matchup. In the last 2 times they met, we talked to Peyton about it last night. It's always a quick exchange. It's a simple, I love you. Tom Coughlin leaves the field shaking his head as his Giants fall to 0-2. Little bit of everything from the Broncos today, including a return for a touchdown. The final score, Denver 41 and the Giants 23. Coming up next, 60 Minutes, followed by a new episode of Big Brother, The Good Wife, The Mentalist. For Bill Sims and Tracy Wolfson, Jim Nantz saying so long from the Meadowlands. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.